take me down if it's just to see me weep. Oh, I can treat a girl kinda in my sleep. Green eyes don't say.
The first thing that happened when we went to start writing this record, Chelsey was like, she said, I don't really play an instrument, or I don't sing. And she would say that, and I'm just like, what do you mean, you don't sing, you don't play an instrument? And then she goes and, she's playing some really pretty chords, just a few things. She starts to sing, and it was amazing. I knew there was something there. Chelsey was never really, sang in front of people too much or made a record, which is like a very serious, thing to do, money-wise, time-wise, everything. So, it's not that I was worried, but I was like, okay, you sure you want to do this? Like, but then, just like every step of the way, she was amazing with, just picking up little things I would tell her to do. It was just something that just clicked on, and I could just see it, her motivation with the project and with how she sang. I could hear it on the recording. You know what I mean? It's different when you're sitting with her and you hear her sing. But when I started to feel her vocals on the recording, I was like, that's all that mattered. Everything else I knew was going to be fine.
I must say I got very lucky that I have people who are as good as they are working with me. Like, I am nobody, and I have these really awesome musicians who have been at it for a while who are the best at what they do. If you want the best jazz musician, the best soul musician, like, we have them.
2, go.
The horns are the best part of this whole thing. Like, I don't know if it was Vince's influence or it was just people improvising, but all the lines and the horns are serious soul funk lines, and that was the part that like really impressed me about the whole record.
So the inspiration that I got for the lines came from sort of what Chelsey had in mind. She sent some artists and some recordings of what she heard when she was writing the music, and that included Sister Sparrow and the Dirty Birds and Amy Winehouse stuff, and also some just old school soul horn lines. That's sort of kind of the culmination of all of them. I pulled some rhythms from certain artists and then some harmonies and kind of melded them all together. We're all three also classically trained, so I think that was extremely helpful in us being able to communicate how we should articulate certain things, and we were also very aware of our intonation, which at times doesn't always happen when you're working with someone who isn't classically trained or doesn't have that mindset whenever they're playing other styles of music. And we were all right on the same page with everything that we did. So it was a blast hanging out and being able to make such good sounds with them.
It just kind of worked because they all get it. Because if you get soul music, then you're fine. Like, you'll fit right in the mold. So yeah, I just started plucking people very strategically. And a lot of them have worked together before. David and Skelly play together all the time, and Max and Vince have played together. In the horn section, they're all really good friends, and they play together so well. Like, being in the studio with them was fun to watch.
I talk about it with a lot of people all the time. It's like you wake up in the middle of your night and you're like, oh, I have this idea for this. Chelsey is that. You know what I mean? And that's why it's as good as it is, because, she had this idea, she had this emotion, and she's, taken the business end, the music end, and, channeled that in 9 months. It's, going from not having a band to having a 10-piece band, soul record behind you. It's amazing.
It happened really fast. It was just went through something and didn't know what to do, so I wrote all these songs in a matter of like 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, anger and hurt and bitterness and grief inspired this one. I know like the first night we met up to make any music at all was like the day shit hit the fan. And we really didn't do anything. He just came over and I was like half into a bottle of wine and was like breaking down and was like, I need music!
Albums were created to sort of have an entire overall meaning and message. And that is not as common anymore, especially with iTunes where you can sell singles like, you know, crazy, and people are just putting out singles all the time. So to have an album that has one overarching concept is really awesome, and I love being part of that.
I did this solely just for me to feel better. This was like a form of therapy for me. So when something happens and you have to find a way to pick up the pieces, it's like, all right, I'm going to make art out of this if I can.
As you're experiencing life, the music's going to continue to develop. Like you develop like a person, and just like this, like it started here, and then all of a sudden we ended up with this amazing record. Not that I didn't think it was going to be amazing, but how it's turned out, each step of the way, I'm just like, wow, this is really happening. This is awesome.